All right, we are back for episode 18 of the AAC podcast, and we're going to talk about JFK Jr. and what is going on in the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. We're going to hit business and life.
Hold
And
on.
what?
I think you meant RFK.
Oh, he caught me. I spelt it wrong, and I was hoping nobody would see that because I can't go back and edit it.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, I think people know exactly what you're talking about, but we'll keep going. Go ahead. I interrupted. Keep going.
You had to catch me on that one, Roy.
I did.
It was an unintentional thing that people will want to click because it's wrong. And like that marketing thing, there's people that actually do that. They purposely misspell stuff so that you will comment and click on things. You ever hear that?
Yeah, I've heard
you're
that.
baiting
Controversial.
You're baiting engagement.
Yeah, so that's what I did unintentionally. But yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So I personally think that Bobby Kennedy here basically endorsing Trump is probably the biggest thing that could happen from a person to endorse Trump. And there's one thing that blows my mind out of the whole thing is how he basically kind of gave a middle finger to the Democratic Party, who he's basically tied himself to his whole life. He said since he was like 6. And I know he went on the independent side, but when he took his ballots off the 10 swing states and kept his name on the other states still that aren't going to really matter, that are going to go left, is like, it's right. It's hilarious to me. What do you think of that, Roy? Like, to me, that right there, when he did that one move, there's many moves, but that one move felt kind of like a middle finger to the Democratic Party.
You know what? I think with Robert here, so here's my experience with Robert Kennedy is that I mean I don't know too much. I didn't know too much about him. I mean, to me it was like it's so weird and it's so superficial too. Like his voice kind of just like it's like nails on a chalkboard to me. Like trying to listen to him, but it's funny because I'm over here researching him. I'm learning. I'm listening to him. I sped it up, and it sounds a really good when it's sped up. But I think he honestly and as weirdly as I think it is that I think if his voice wasn't as raspy as it was, I think he would have done so much better. I think he would have made more noise.
Do you know why his voice is raspy?
I'm pretty sure it has to do with his. So I don't want to go ahead and just assume anything. I'll let you go ahead and take it from here. Why is his voice raspy?
I don't know 100%, but I think it has to do with actually vaccination, when he got vaccinated or something. I don't know the full story behind it, but
he has some kind of condition. I don't know.
Yeah, he got some kind of condition disease thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
I was thinking it was like his early days of partying, because I think he was a little bit of a party boy back then, right?
I don't know, but someone did come out and said that he was dealing cocaine, and I saw the funniest post. Like, oh no, like this guy, they come out and he's a dealer of cocaine. Someone's like, well, don't give us any more reasons to vote for the guy. Like they thought it was like this bash, and they were just like coming back.
As far as like politician pasts go, that's pretty light, I would say. Like that's
oh yeah.
In your past life as a politician, like that's pretty clean compared to a lot of them.
I mean, most of these politicians. I mean, well, look at this whole Epstein Island thing, right? That the list hasn't come out with. Like, how many politicians have gone to that crazy thing?
Yeah.
That's like a whole nother level.
Yeah, I'd love to have that list.
Well, someone's got it. I don't know if they're ever going to make it public. They probably won't.
Supposedly, it was on that confiscated laptop that Anthony Weiner had, or Hillary Clinton's laptop. Which one? That one that was confiscated and it was never released, so it doesn't really matter.
I don't know. I remember at the time, but I don't remember. But yeah, I think the thing that's really interesting with the endorsement that he's doing is, I think, like how I was wondering is like, and I've heard this a lot, and I know PBD talks about this a lot, is like it's the middle people who actually determine the election. It's not, the hardcore Democrats. It's not the hardcore Republicans. It's whoever's the swing in the middle, right? There's like 8 to 12%, whatever that variance is. And I think RFK joining is going to swing a pretty big chunk of that, because he doesn't believe in a lot of typical Republican value points.
Yeah.
He doesn't. And so like he
No.
fit the narrative. Like if you go back to like 2020, right, and you get Pence as the VP, and or if you had RFK coming on, like I don't think it wouldn't fly because he's got so much on the left, on the liberal side of it. I wouldn't even say left. I say liberal because left is like whoa, but liberal I think is like who he is, right? Like, and I think that's really cool. Is Trump is opening up the ticket with him, and I don't know what he'll give him, but even like Elon Musk, right? Like, what is he going to get if Trump wins? He's going to be in some cabinet position probably. Can you imagine Musk and RFK Jr. and who else? Like, the left is going to lose their mind.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's very interesting. And now that he's endorsed Donald Trump, like I think a lot of people are going to start doing more of their research on him. And I mean, one of the things that really popped out to me was like how jacked this guy is. Have you seen his workouts?
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen his workouts, but I've seen the pictures they're posting of him with his shirt off.
I mean, like the guy's 70 years old, so like goals, you know. But
Yeah.
but outside of his fitness physique and but one of the things that I'm excited for is if again, I do hope it actually holds true that he'll be a huge contributor to the health side of everything because I'm a big advocate for health and wellness and then understanding what's currently in our products, what's in our food, what's in our like for example, I mean there's a lot of fluoride in our water. There's a lot of fluoride in everything. And then we have these forever chemicals, also known as the perfluoric lectile. So don't quote me on that, but it's a long word. But these are that's what they call the forever chemicals. They're in like the nonstick pans. Recently, we figured out they're also in a lot of our toilet paper too. And this is stuff that's living not just in our stuff, but like it's in shampoo, makeup, nail polish, dental floss. It can also get airborne as well. So we're actually breathing this stuff in. Apparently, from what I learned from the National Institute of Environmental Health and Science. So that part there, if he dives into stuff like that, like cracking down, like what kind of crap are you putting in our stuff? Hey, let's stop this and like let's get the country back to being healthy again.
All right, who's eating food? I hear like forks and knives hitting a plate.
Oh, sorry. No, that's a palette.
Come on, Alex.
Sorry. That's not a fork. I'm not eating. It's just art supplies that I'm messing with.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. No, that's a good point, Roy, because I think the one thing is like he's kind of calling out the food industry and the pharmaceutical, right? And they have so much power because they put so much crap in our food. There's so many places like in basically Europe and all these other countries that will not allow the ingredients that the US allows in their food. It's insane. Oh, yeah. It's mind blowing. And so if he actually, I don't know like where you would position like JFK, like where would you put him? But like if he's really passionate about going after these pharmaceutical companies, which they pay an insane amount to lobbyists to push their stuff, right? And that like our whole industry on the health is so pathetic and sad. And people do not realize this. They don't. Like your doctor is paid, not every doctor, but most doctors are paid to push prescriptions, and they literally get paid from the pharmaceutical companies, from the reps to push certain drugs. Once I found that out, I was like, that doesn't even make sense. So you're incentivized to give a drug to not cure.
They're incentivized to give chemo. You have people go through chemo. They make money off of that.
Yeah.
Tons of it.
I don't know who said this, but I heard this like 2 weeks ago, and it just like blew my mind of like how corrupt our health industry is I think I saw it on Tucker Carlson, actually. I think he was interviewing somebody and I did. It was on him. I don't know who said it on there though, but it was on the Tucker Carlson. He was interviewing somebody and they said like, we are trying to kill people slowly. They don't want people dead right away. They want people have chronic illnesses their whole life because that's how they make money off people. And so they want to kill you really slow. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the whole thing is mind blowing. And I know JFK Jr., he wants to go after that industry. Dude, that's like scary. And then did you guys see that the White House just took off of his he doesn't get Secret Service anymore. They took his protection away.
They took that off too.
Wow.
Yeah. They know he's gunning for him.
That's crazy. He's just gonna, if I was him, I'd be like, I guess I got to hang out with Trump now because like that's the safest place to be.
Hey Trump, I'm gonna hang out in your guest bedroom in Mar-a-Lago. So this is where I'll be stationed.
Yeah. What do you think, Alex? From your perspective, you know what I'd like to know is like you're 25, right? So like from you and a little like a decade younger than us, basically. What is your perspective that you have and like you've seen with your age group with the whole politics going on? Are people paying attention or they don't care what's up?
And if you guys are even thinking about this stuff, like, I mean,
we're definitely thinking about this stuff. We're kind of all on the same page. I guess the guys that I have around me, and I'm in a very different community though. Like I'm not really that exposed to like your average Gen Z. Like all of us are very like all in right wing, serving God. So we're kind of on the same page.
So you're considered a nut job from the left.
Yes. I've noticed my generation is going to every extreme. So like if their parents were kind of liberal, they're more liberal. If their parents were kind of conservative, they're even more right wing because they're just like, they're going to further extremes. They're not like hanging out in the middle. There's not a whole lot of people in the middle because they're just being driven to each side. And as far as the RFK goes, I saw actually an article that I just saw a few minutes ago.
Wait, hold on. You did say RFK.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, RFK. It's
JFK.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Yeah, I put it wrong. That's right.
It's not JRK. It's not JFK's son.
I'm sorry.
That's not who we were talking about, right? He's dead.
No. I know. I forgot again that I spelt it wrong. In the 12 minutes that we've been live, I already forgot I spelt it wrong.
Oh. Okay. Sorry, you said JRK, so you just said jerk, basically.
I basically said jerk junior update.
Okay. The real guy, whoever we're talking about.
Okay. Yeah.
Trump said he'd consider appointing RFK Jr. to role in his administration, and one of the positions he mentioned was CIA director, which is really interesting considering his family history.
Did his father run that? Is that what it was, or is that his uncle? Does anyone know?
So
I gotta look it up now.
JFK was.
Ran it?
I don't know if any of his family ran it, but basically there was a bunch of conspiracies saying that the CIA killed his family because as soon as JFK said he wanted to dismantle the CIA, and I think he said scatter it into the wind. That's what he said, and he of course died. We know what happened to him. He got JFK'd, and basically his that would be an interesting role for him is the CIA killing his family and then make him the director of it and see what happens.
Yeah, I think amazing. He would be better off though. Like this is what's interesting, right? Like where do you put the guy? You know, like which I think going after the pharmaceutical companies and the food is the best place. But the CIA would be very, very interesting too. Yeah. And I was watching. It was PBD and dang it, I can't remember who the guy was, but he had a counter thing of why he thought the CIA wouldn't be a good fit, and he made a really good point that even if he gets that spot, because what you just said, Alex, about how the CIA basically took JFK out, right? Basically, and that there's so many things locked away. Even if he gets to be the director, he's not going to find out. There's like that key is locked. It doesn't matter if you're the director. And so not that he can't get a lot done, but his point was, I don't think he doesn't believe that you'll be able to actually figure that out. And so like, where do you put him to get the most utilization of what he can do? Cause you only got a finite time, right? Like it goes by quick. So yeah,
I think he would still be very effective as a director of what, health and wellness. Is that the official office right now? Is that the name of the cabinet position?
That would be the,
Yeah,
I think that would be a good
position for him.
I think that would be great. He's so passionate about talking about vaccines and food and all that stuff. And
as soon as I heard him talk about seed oils, I'm like, I love this guy. I agree with him. I could talk to him.
Yeah, You know what's crazy is like that whole food pyramid that we have, right, is so backwards, upside down. And like how I think it was in the 90s and early 2000s, it was like low fat this and, you know, like use your vegetable oil. And then like you're getting rid of everything natural. Like it's kind of mind blowing how like we got brainwashed in what was actually good for our bodies. It's like, it's crazy. And you look at like the obesity rate in America. And I think that's the whole point right there is the seed oils. Like your body can't break down seed oils. Like the canola oil and the vegetable, like all these things are so bad for you, but they're like in everything. I like pick up a loaf of bread and I'm like, what the heck is in this? There's like 30. I never looked at ingredients. I thought like, oh, this looks like healthy food. Now I'm picking things up and I'm like, why is there 20 added grams of sugar in this? Like, I'm like, this doesn't even make sense.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
And so I stopped drinking. What's that energy drink that I would normally bring for the
Celsius?
podcast?
Yeah, that's terrible.
Do you know
watch
why?
something? Yeah, there's something in it that's just terrible for you, but I can't pronounce it.
Supposedly it has, no, not supposedly. It does have, because I saw the ingredient, and I actually learned this from a gentleman who actually. It's weird. This guy, he's such a. He has a business where all he does is he sells dirt to marijuana farms.
He sells dirt. What is it, like fertilized dirt or what?
He formulated everything to help grow marijuana plants. And so I'm over here talking to this guy and he's showing me on the can, like it has arsenic in it. So it has like, I think it has like, twice the amount of, or I don't know how much, I can't remember how much now, but it has so much in there it's bad for bodies, and they're actually gaining it from human waste. Isn't that crazy?
Wait. So is this fertilizer got human crap in it?
No. He's saying it's inside the Celsius. Come on, Jaron.
No, dude, I actually have a hilarious story regarding marijuana and human feces. I don't know if I want to get into it, but
why not?
It's the most random thing.
We're already on top. All right. So go ahead.
Yeah, perfect transition. Nice.
Okay,
nice
so this is hilarious. Here we go. We're going to pivot into this. So I was working for a power company up in Minnesota for about 9 years, and about halfway into it, 5 years in, I went to this property, and it was like just this trailer, and I needed to go check the meter, and which the meter is what it's like it calculates the wattage and kilowatts that you use for power, right? And it's usually on the building or like on a post. So like I'm walking by, I see the meter, it's out in the field on like this post, and I'm like looking at this trailer park or like this trailer, and I'm like there's no way anyone lives in this thing, because it's like it's so like it looks like someone shot a cannonball through it a few times. Like there's like holes in it. So anyways, I'm like, I usually would go knock at someone's door, right? Like to be polite. I'm like, no one, this is like an abandoned place. So I go check the meter, and I'm like looking around, and I'm like, man, there's some oddly weird mounds that are like 5 feet tall. And I was like, what the heck are these things? And I don't know what they are. So anyways, there's like 20 of them. I'm like, this is so weird. So anyways, I come back and I hear somebody in the trailer, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, all right, I better go knock and just let them know I'm here. So I go and knock on the door, and this guy comes out, doesn't have a shirt on, burly guy. And I can just tell like something's not right with him. And I'm like, oh dear Lord, like this can be an interesting combo. So here, I got to preface this because this part's hilarious. So I go like up like a stairs, right? Think of like a little deck. It's like 8 by 8, and there's these little stairs. And he gets in front of me, and so I can't get out the stairs. I'd have to like jump off the side. And so he's kind of like, I'm kind of getting worried a little bit, and he's talking and blah, 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 blah. Right. And I'm okay, I got to get out of here. Like this guy's a nut job. And I like look over, and there's one of these big mounds in my way. And I'm like looking, I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And he goes, oh yeah, you see my fertilizer mounds. And I was like, yeah, I do. Dude, guys, I kid you not. There is a fresh human turd on top of this thing. And so he tells me, he's like, I grow marijuana here, and I use my poop to fertilize the plants. And I like, look, guys, I can't, that sounds like I'm joking. There's like 20 of these
Sounds like
mounds.
sounds like a Minnesota guy.
He's been doing this for years, and he piles up his stuff, and
Nice.
it's gross. And then he like eats the marijuana. Yeah, I know, right? And so
I mean, if it grows on the ground, you wash it first. I guess I don't.
so that's
You
my
wash it first.
that's my dirt poop marijuana story that I actually was there live with somebody. It's pretty crazy.
Oh,
But
well, this guy's selling dirt. He's making millions.
So you didn't have to like jump off to get away, right? You let you go, right?
no, he finally got out of the way. And
Okay.
there's a second part of the story, but I'm not going to get into it here. I'll
Okay.
do it on another episode. The second part's even funnier than this one.
It sounded like you were setting it up for you to have to jump off into it.
Yeah. I got out, and then there's another part. But anyways,
Okay.
that's my marijuana story. So, yeah.
Glad you're
All right.
clean.
I can't top your poop marijuana story. I don't know.
I
Dude,
don't
I
know
got
how to
so
top
many-
that.
it's it's crazy. I was thinking about this today. So today's day 200, and I was making my video of my daily vlog. And if you guys don't know, I bought All American Canine 200 days ago today, and I said I would make a video and post of my mental state, what's happening, just updates for 1,000 days straight, right? And so I'm making my video, and Alex pops on, and I'm just like thinking of like memories, right, of all that's happened in the last just 200 days, and I'm like, you know what's really cool is like there's so many stories of just funny things. Like I got stories with you guys that are hilarious. Like when I went down to Austin, you were in one of my videos, right, Alex? We went to the Capitol,
Yep.
and we were like talking about like what the heck's happened in this Capitol building and all these underground things. And I know I've done a lot with you, Roy, and I was like literally making this video, and I was like, dude, there's gonna be so many fun memories, even though there's a lot of like not fun memories when I look back though. And I think that's what's cool about life. And that's the segue into this business and life thing that we're going to talk about here is like, I think that's one thing people forget. Like it's the stories, it's the memories, it's crying and laughing. Like it's all good when you look back. Like it's actually when there's nothing happening, you don't have those memories, right? It's just like this poof. What happened for those 3 months? But when it's all crazy and exciting, you're like, in the moment, it's like, oh my gosh, I wish I wasn't doing this. And then I like look back, I go, man, the first 100 days were really, really tough, but I got through them, right? I got through it. I know I did another 100 days, and I'm like, wow, I'm still going. And I'm like laughing at some of these memories. So I don't know if that's how it works for you guys, but that's just kind of where I've been in life and business right now, is just cherishing the memories that I'm creating in the hard time.
So there's been a few times where I've heard from people that have gone and done and built good businesses and have sold them, and they've all reflected back, and sometimes they had wished like, man, I wish I was at the growing stage of the business again, because they're just kind of it's like they're trying to find a new mountain to climb. So, and to us, we're just thinking like, yeah, I'd rather be at the mountain, but I gotta say thank you for for the hardship, because again, going back to our other podcast, doing hard things. I mean, that hardship is part of the fun, and if everything was easy, I think I don't think we would be in this business if it was that easy. I think we'd just be bored and just trying to figure out more things to do to make our lives a little bit more complicated, a little bit more challenging. So I think that's just our makeup. We look for challenging things. I know, especially myself and yourself and you, Jaron.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if I find too much challenging things, though. I won't lie. I'm like, man, I got myself into this one, something like this again.
You think it's just fun to make a challenge, just to challenge yourself in any way?
Yeah, I mean, you've been around me enough, Alex, especially like at work. Like I'm like, wait a second. Oh, we can do that. We're just gonna do it.
We can make this harder. Like we can do that.
I purposely we're gonna make it harder. Yeah. No, I think you're right though, Roy. Like I think that's part of the journey of life, right? And why it's fun is like, if it was easy, I think this is where I'll ask you some questions too, Alex, and I think bring you in the loop, and I think you can appreciate this. Like, I can't paint and draw. I can't even draw stick people. Like people make fun of me when I make stick figures. It's hilarious. But like if when you take your time and you go do it, if you just did something in 10 minutes and it was like the best piece you've ever done, I don't think you would appreciate it as much. But like, I'm assuming like when you take days or weeks and you're like praying and asking God to like download you with like visions and different things to paint, and you know, maybe you're like stuck, but I feel like once you're done, I feel like that's just like how I look at something like building a business or doing stuff in life. Like once I like look back and go, wow, that made it beautiful, was the actual hardship and the time.
Yeah, it's it's kind of the same thing for me. And even I'll talk about painting, but even over the past couple of years, since moving here from North Dakota and like starting over, meeting new people, finding a job, and just like setting up life in a new place, it's been really difficult at times. Like a lot of grinding and living paycheck to paycheck, and like very close to my means, like just barely making enough.
Dude, I'll never forget the day that I dropped you off at like a motel or something, and I just met you. And I'm like, dude, if this guy sticks around, this guy's a hero. Like, that's literally, I was like, I don't know how he's gonna do it, but like, we'll see. And like that impressed me, that like, because I got to see not all your story, but like from when you got here and you came over and started working, like I got to see like you not have a place, and like I can't afford to do this, and you had to like ask for help and different things, and I was like, I could see it in your eyes. I was like, oh crap, like this guy is going through it.
Yeah, I know. I didn't hide it very well, but like looking back on it, like it was rough during that period, but looking back on all of this and being in a better place now, I'm like, I'm so grateful for everyone that's helped me and all the memories that I've made, because even in that place, like there was still plenty of joy. There's still plenty of like connection and really like things that I'm grateful for, and all the people that I'm connected with and everything.
So Alex, how old are you?
Yeah, I'm 25.
So 25. Well, what would you? So you moved down here from North Dakota at what age?
23.
23. What would you tell a 23-year-old that's gonna pack up and do the exact thing you did? So what would be the number one thing you would tell them?
Apprehension is the worst part. Just start, whatever it is. No matter what it is. If it's moving, if it's starting a business, like whatever it is. Like apprehension is the worst part. Just get started, even though you're not perfect. First time's not going to be perfect.
That's good, man. Like I think a lot of people just are afraid to jump, right? Especially at a young age, right? Like I'm assuming you were afraid just partly from your age standpoint, do you think? Because you were so young?
I mean, I knew I could find work doing something, and I knew I could like live at a very, like I didn't have a family. Like I don't have very high expenses. So I could find a job doing something. I could be okay. But I think it was like not knowing anybody and not going to the church that I'm at now beforehand, and like having to move before I had connections was the difficult part.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you know? I don't think Roy knows what you actually did. Do you know what he did, Roy?
I have no clue.
You should give him the 2-minute version. Just the 2-minute version.
Still a mystery box to me.
Cliff Notes testimony.
Just give him the Cliff Notes of how you got like getting here, basically.
So, I encountered God in North Dakota, and I started getting the sense in a lot of different ways that He wanted me to move to Texas. And without going too much into my family, there's quite a lot of abuse. There's occult involvement, and I had to separate before moving here, basically. And with that, I lost quite a few people, and I lost almost everything when I was there. So I had very little. I was surrounded by basically just my possessions, and that's all I had. And at the time, I was sleeping in my car for a couple of days, and I just had all my stuff, my clothes, my car, and I didn't sell my clothes. I gave my clothes away, sold my car, and just decided that was it. Like there's nothing else for me here, and it's time to go, because I could find a job here and I could keep living and working here, or I could do the exact same thing in Texas. Like I would have to start over in either place. So I might as well just do it in the place that God called me to. So I bought a plane ticket to the exact church that I knew that God wanted me to go to, because I heard the word storehouse several times. And I moved here. 3 days later, went to a Sunday service, and those are the first people that I met here in Texas. And a couple months later is when I started working at the shop with Jaron, and that was the first job I got after I moved here.
Respect.
That's how I met all of you. That's how I got all you
Isn't that
on this
crazy?
podcast.
Like, hey, I'm just gonna go get a plane ticket and leave everything I know and just show up in Texas and like figure it out with no money, basically.
I had my savings. I had what I earned out of a safety deposit box, but that only lasted a few months. So I was still like,
yeah,
that I needed that job.
I think though that's so good though. Like like to go experience something like that. I think it creates character and perseverance and grit that you can't get just naturally. Like you have to experience some things. Like you felt pressure in ways at your age that most people have never felt, or they will never feel it, even the older they get. And I think that's something a lot of people miss, is to do those hard things, because it builds that resilience in you. So when stuff happens in life, and this is something that, I've heard about too, like if you are not prepared and you don't build your mind up, especially when loved ones die, people like lose it. Right. And it's going to happen. And so like, if you're not prepared for that stuff, like a lot of people just go in a shell for a long time and they can't get out. And there's nothing wrong. Like you need to grieve, but like life needs to move on. Right. And so I've heard like the people that have never gone through just normal hard things in life, they get wrecked. And so I haven't seen it personally. I don't know anyone, but I've heard that that's what happens pretty hard to some people that they've seen that I know.
Sounds to me there's more like again, Alex, more power to you, but there's more to that story that I don't know. That's what Jaron's speaking on.
There's a whole lot of stories like before and after I moved here, and that would take up a whole podcast, I think. But
we should we should have a title basically of like they come out at night.
Oh man, it would me and Jaron will just start like telling stories about the supernatural things that have happened.
Oh, dude. I told Roy my Vegas story.
Yeah, we did a podcast about it. I was there. I switched
That's
for
right.
that.
You were
That's
there.
right.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
no.
We didn't go that far into it on the podcast.
No. We did the California story that I recently went on.
Yeah.
That's the one we did on the podcast. But the one I told him what happened on the Vegas trip. Oh, that's my other marijuana story.
Which one?
Yeah, right.
Which drug story?
Yeah, we'll have to get into some of that fun stuff, because that's some deep stuff for sure. Yeah. Well, how you feeling, Roy, about business and life right now?
Business and life, I mean, it's good. I can't complain. I like the direction we're going. We're bringing out the team. I've had some really good conversations with some people, and they're excited and want to know more about how they can help and contribute. Remember Ajay?
Yes. Yeah. He's on the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, we had Ajay on the podcast. So I just want to let our audience know that if you are in the Dallas area, he's putting on an event that's going to be taking place. It's like a type of gala to help prevent sex trafficking. And I know that was some of the things that you and I were wanting to get more involved in. Yeah. But we had some other curveballs thrown at us, kind of derailed us. But that's still on the ticket list for us to also be a contributor in that space.
When is his event? Where's it at?
It's sometime, and I think it is next month. But I'll send you the details. I'll be sure to put it here. We'll post it here at the bottom on the podcast.
I'm only going to be in Dallas for like a week or so, but if I'm there, I'd love to go. But probably won't work. But
no, but so it's the reason why I bring that up is not just because also to help Ajay with the event, but my parents were in town this past weekend, and we got on this topic of the predators that are that are going out there. Because my wife was actually at having a conversation with another person at her office, and they were just kind of got onto that topic. And so just being careful with me being a father, and then my daughter, she's 12, she's going to be 13 in about the next 6 months, and a lot of things are going to be coming her way that I need to make sure she's very much informed and also ready for one. Being aware of your surroundings. Don't ever go somewhere by yourself. Always have someone with you. Let us know where you're going.
Yeah.
She's trying to be so independent, but also I I understand I can't protect her forever, but just making sure I equip her with the tools and what's really out there to her. I don't want to scare her off, but also, there's so much, there's so much riding. I mean, there's so much going for her. And so just making sure she's uh, making the right decisions and that she also she has her own standards and morals that she's going for.
What do you got, Alex? I can see it on your face. You got something.
I spaced out for the past couple minutes. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Am I that boring to you, Alex?
I was thinking about something else. No, nothing
I listened
personal.
the whole
really.
time. He went in some
I mean-
zone. I thought he had something deep, but apparently he was snoozing.
Yeah, a
No.
little bit. Sorry.
Oh, that's all good. No, I think you're completely right, Roy, because I think that's one thing society has really missed on is really being there, especially for, young adult girls and also men, but especially like if they're your daughter or, they're people, is if you don't have a healthy relationship with you as the father or other, manly figures in your life, it's going to be really hard for her because she's going to want to find love, right? And there's just a lot of dudes that are just looking. What love is not what we would say love is, and I think it's very important to have a healthy relationship, and I think it's very, very missed in society. And there's Alex again here. They're snoozing her. He's got something.
I've been listening to this time. You're good. Keep going. Keep going.
But no, I think that's really good, Roy. I think you as a father with a daughter, I don't have a daughter, I have 3 boys. It's very important that you are intentional, especially in these probably next 4 or 5 years of her life, because it's very critical of the man that she's going to choose to probably be with. Like it's a big deal. It really is,
Yeah.
man. So kudos to you to step up and start leading that up in your family and your household.
So if you're out there and you have a daughter, one of the things I've learned is that these people that target these individual women, and they'll target anyone, but the more the father is involved in the daughter's life, and also if he looks like he could be a somewhat of trouble or conflict to them, they want to knock that off the radar. They specifically target, fatherless girls. So if you are a father, be more involved, and then work out, stay in shape, because they do not want to mess with guys like us.
Yeah, go beat the shit out of them.
That's right.
Look like a threat.
I will. I mean,
Well, that's part of it too, though. Like if you're a man and you aren't a threat, you can't be taken serious.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like you can't. I think that's what's sad too is like they're demasculating men basically, right? They're neutering most
Mhm.
men. Is like it's kind of pathetic because like you need and I love it. Jordan Peterson said this like 7 or 8 years ago and it went viral. Like you need to be a dangerous man. If you are not dangerous by nature, you are incapable of being protective. You can't do it. And it's not just physical, it's also mental. Like you need to be able to critically think and not let the whole wokeness of society and, all this crap going around eat
Yeah.
you up. And so like if you are mentally fit, physically fit, and all these things, like you are a dangerous foe. And if you are not a dangerous foe, then you're just going to be one of the numbers and one of the sheep in society that literally gets taken advantage of. And if you have kids, what are they going to do? They're going to follow and they're going to get into traps. And I think I'll just add this here just because it's interesting is like there's I've had 2 talks with 2 people. of people that want to pursue somebody that I know, and I'm basically protective big brother. Okay, I've literally had 2 chats with 2 people this year, and I've looked these guys in the eye. I literally was like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you if you touch this person inappropriately before you marry this person. Straight up, I said, off limits. It's not gonna happen. And I said, I'm gonna know everything. And the looks that these 2 guys gave me was hilarious. Super funny, but I was like serious, because I think most people, they don't have somebody in their corner, especially like a young girl or a young woman. Like, if they don't have a male figure that's there for them, it's different, right?
Yeah.
And so even when outside of the predatory part, just even in our own communities, like, it's too easy to fall into traps and to start doing stuff and taking advantage of people right in front of everyone's face. It's not just the predators. Like, and this goes back into our human nature, is we have a sinful nature and we have desires. And I think that's also a very neglected thing in our society. And so I started addressing it this year, and it's kind of like, it's funny, but it's not, because I'll just say, like, one person took it serious and the other one didn't. And it was very like, oh, okay, very interesting. Like, you don't know, but like, it was very appreciated for these young women for me to do it, because they know that I've had these combos. So I'm just, yeah.
So go bringing it back to the men being involved in their daughter's life. Look out for what you're consuming, as far as not just media too, as well as nutrition wise. So like we've been saying, pay more attention to the labels, what's on it. That's also why we got into the canine supplement business, because we do want to. Dogs are also a form of security. They're the first ones that will get up and like warn you. So take care of them as well.
Yeah. Well, I think that's good. You got anything else, Alex, to add this before you fall asleep?
No, I was thinking when you were talking, Jaron, of how even though like the vast majority of people aren't considered predators, a lot of people still have that like watered down predator behavior when they're pursuing someone in the wrong way, because they'll look for someone who doesn't have protection from a male figure. Like, the stereotype of like a teenage guy like pursuing a woman and they're like afraid of the dad, yeah, like there's no reason for you to be afraid of the woman's father if you're pursuing her the right way, ever. You should never be afraid.
100%. It doesn't matter how threatening the person looks. If your intentions are pure,
yeah, you're fine.
You are correct. You're like, you have nothing to worry about.
You're not gonna mess around with them, then you shouldn't be afraid of them. And then women should use that as a litmus test to see whether this guy means what he says. Is he going to pursue you, or is he looking to get something from you? Because if he's looking to get something from you, then he's going to be like trying to get around your protection in the male figures in your life. He's going to be like afraid of them, or like trying to get past them. He's not going to like walk up directly to them and talk to them. If you're doing things the right way, you should just meet the family and you'll be fine. Right. So a lot of people still have those like really mild predatory behaviors, even though they're not predators the way you'd think. Right.
It's like an unconscious thing that they've either learned unknowingly, or they learned it just because of the peers that they hang out with. Really. Yeah. Exactly. Cool. Well, I think we're wrapped up. I got to go do my fantasy football in 12 minutes. So we got to go. Go draft a good team, guys, is my plan tonight.
All right, guys. All right. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
Well, we'll see you Thursday.
Yep, Thursday. We'll be on Thursdays.
Okay.
All right. See you.